Bippity boppity boo. Welcome back, hippies, to hour number 2 of Student of the Gun Radio. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for taking some time out of your busy, busy day to put earbuds in and walk on the treadmill and listen to me.
He says that a lot, doesn't he, guys?
What's that?
Bippity boppity boo.
Bam.
What was today at SOTG University?
Today at SOTG University was AK Day. You're like, Autovac Kalashnikov? Yeah, that's right. What we did today is I actually took the M85 PAP, P-A-P, packs a punch. Hoo-hoo. Actually, if you guys out there know what PAP stands for, what the actual designation for PAP stands for, go ahead and write us in. Write to P.O. Box 405 Boulder, Colorado. Make sure you send a self-addressed stamped envelope. No, but seriously, folks, yeah, we've got the M85 PAP, and if you've been following us on social media, and shame on you if you haven't, or even if you follow studentofthegun.com and you've read our blog, we did an article, Jared, about a couple weeks ago? I guess it was maybe 2 weeks ago or so about that particular gun. It's a Kalashnikov AK-style action, but it's chambered in 5.56, and it takes standard AR-15 magazines. So we did a little piece that says, is this the best of both worlds? Well, we've been reviewing the gun for about, 3 months now, 2-3 months. We just actually finished our field review for the TV show, and that's going to be coming up really, really soon. And we've made some alterations, or yours truly has made some alterations and some changes to the gun, and we're going to highlight those on the show as well. And one of the reasons that today's AK Day is because I had to strip it down completely. I watched a YouTube video to make sure that I was taking the trigger and the hammer and everything out correctly. And I don't know what the guy's name is. There's a guy, he's like M85Z or MZ85. Let me check it out. I'm going to say AK trigger disassembly. But this guy, he's on YouTube, and he has a whole bunch of YouTube videos.
Who isn't on YouTube anymore?
Yeah, exactly. My grandma's on YouTube, but no, here we go. And I just, I don't know the dude, but here's what I do know about him is he's got some really handy dandy YouTube how-to videos about AKs and what have you. And this one, and believe it or not, Jared, this guy actually has good in-focus camera work, and he actually uses studio lights.
And what about the audio?
And the audio's good too.
Wow.
I know you're freaking out. You're like, no way, that can't possibly be. But here, I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to give this guy some free pimpage. So, dude, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, congratulations, you're getting free pimpage on Student of the Gun Radio. It's NSZ85. And all you hip cats out there in the Student of the Gun audience are probably like, oh, we know who that dude is. I watch his stuff all the time or whatever. But, November Sierra Zulu 85. And he's got some pretty good stuff there. So take the time and watch him if you feel like it. If you don't, that's cool too. So what we did is we disassembled the M85 completely. So it's being Duracoated right now, actually, as we speak. It's been Duracoated, and all the parts are drying. So we're going to have that back together, hopefully in the very near future, and get some pictures up for you guys. Then I completely disassembled the Century Arms C39 pistol. And you guys have seen this featured before on Student of the Gun TV. It is a AK pistol with an SB47 wrist stabilizer on it. But it's a machined receiver AK. It's made 100% in the United States of America. And I stripped it down completely as well, and we're going to be Duracoating it next. It's up next in the paint booth. And if we couldn't get enough, Jared brought his own personal AK into the shop, and we pulled off the old stock and the old pistol grip. We're going to replace the stock with a new one from, was it Dark Angel? Or no, Archangel. Yeah, an Archangel polymer stock. I never tried them before, and I went to the Brownells catalog, and I saw they just started stocking them. To the catalog. Okay.
They just started stocking them. Stocking the stocks.
They're stocking the stocks. All right, I didn't go to the catalog. I went to Brownells.com, but whatever. I went to Brownells.com, and they've got these new stocks, and so I picked one of those up. And we've got our good friends at Ergo Grip. My buddy Matt Foster is the guy behind the scenes that's working with Ergo Grip, and he contacted me about 8 weeks ago maybe, and said, "Hey, Ergo Grip is putting out new AK pistol grips, and I'm gonna get one in your hot little hands so you can test it out." And let me tell you what, brothers and sisters, especially if you're an American, you have big meaty paws, and the standard AK grip feels like a little pinball flipper in your hand. It's just a little thing. Yeah, do they work? Sure, they work. But let's face it, there's one point, or there's a primary area on a gun that you hold on to, and with this an AK, it's a pistol grip. So if you get one that feels good and it fits in your hand well, it just makes the whole shooting experience a little bit more enjoyable. And Jared, have you been impressed by them, by the Ergo grips?
Yeah, I'm very impressed by them. My hand fits perfectly in the grip. In my hand, I don't have giant hands, but I have medium-sized hands.
You have man hands?
Yeah, I've got man hands.
You got man hands. So if you have man hands, you might want to wrap your man hands around one of these Ergo grips. And people are like, all right, well, there's lots of different grips out there. There's the one from US Palm, and Magpul's got some, and Ergo Grip's got some. And I've used all three of them, and then, of course, I've used the factory ones as well. And let me tell you what, right now, the tip of the hat, the nod, is going to the Ergo Grip ones. And the Ergo Grip, the units, they have the hard plastic, and they have one that's a little bit softer. It's got that little sticky stuff to it. Some people like it, some people don't, but whatever. So Jared's AK, by the time we're done, is going to have a new stock on it and a new pistol grip. And we actually stripped it down, and it still had red Tennessee mud in it. We found there was still Jared, tell the audience why your AK had red Tennessee dirt inside of the receiver.
My AK had red Tennessee dirt inside the receiver because I took a fighting rifle class from Tactical Response. It was a while ago.
It was last year. Actually, it was last year this month.
Yeah, that was a year ago. So my AK's been running for a whole year without. I think I didn't strip it down completely.
Oily. Yeah, it's got a lot of
I did.
frog lube
I
in
put frog lube in it, but I haven't stripped it down for an entire year, and it's still running fine.
So we took it out front and used the hose and hosed it out and banged it on the ground and brought it back in, and we're going to put it back together. All right, so that's what we've been doing prior to getting in front of the black carbon steel microphones to talk to you folks out there. But speaking of Brownells, where we got most of the parts to put on our AKs, and if you're looking for parts and pieces to go in your AK, the last part, and we haven't even talked about this yet, is the new Magpul AK mags. I got my hands on one of those, just a T&E to see if I would like it, and so far I'm pretty impressed. I've only had it for maybe a month, so I haven't really run it super hard yet, but looks like they have a lot of potential. And because PMags, I really like the PMags, and I've been using them for years and years and years. So why not an AK PMag? I don't know. Why not? But you can go to Brownells.com. And when you go shopping at Brownells.com, you want to make sure that you use the promo code, the official Student of the Gun promo code, GTF, Golf Tango Foxtrot. When you do that, you're going to get a $10 gift card if you order $50 or more. What else is going on? Let me see. Well, we've got, of course, XS sights, the fastest sights in any light, and we've got that's what you got on your AK, don't you, Jared?
Of course.
How many?
I think I have XS sights on all my fighting guns.
I think you do too. How many of you guys out there in the listening audience knew that that XS made sights for AKs? Yeah, I bet you didn't. Some of you didn't, but now you know. And they make not only do they make the big dot express sight, but they also make posts as well. And I know a lot of you guys are out there like, oh, you can't put a dot on a rifle, man. Dude, I've shot steel plates at 300 yards with an AK-74 with XS sights on it. You just need to know how to hold it and how to shoot it. What are you planning to do with your gun? Is it a fighting gun or is it a match gun? Are you trying to shoot bullseye with it? Well, if you're trying to shoot bullseye with it, you probably don't want an express sight. But if you're looking to shoot varmints and predators with it, then it might be something to look into. Colt, don't forget about our buddies Colt at Colt.com, the makers of the LE901 rifle. And the last thing we want to talk about is SWAT Fuel. And you make sure that you guys when you go to SWATfuel.com, if and when you do, and you should, put in the promo code SOTG2014, Sierra Oscar Tango Golf 2014. And when you do that, you're going to get 20% off of your total purchase, which is, folks, that's righteous. Now, speaking of things that are righteous, you like that segue, Jared? He's nodding. Just nod if you can hear me. Is there anyone at home? All right, enough bad Pink Floyd impressions right now. We haven't had our boy. We haven't had Tiny Tim on in a while. I think it's been a couple of episodes, right, or at least a couple of segments.
I think we could have done it last time.
We probably could have. As a matter of fact,
third hour.
Yeah, we could have, but we're gonna.
Oh, I'm sorry, bonus hour. I messed up.
Go there, you go. Pay yourself $1 or whatever. All right, so let's let our buddy Tiny Tim lead us into this story. If you're like me, you get a little bit giddy when you hear the tiptoe through the tulips because you know something that's both sad and ridiculous and funny and stupid. All of those things is about to come up here on Student of the Gun Radio. And we've got one for you. Now, this is the crazy irony of this is it keeps happening. Apparently people don't listen or pay attention or what, but in my show notes, it says underneath the Vagination Report, it says more umbrella news. And more than one of you, Jared pointed it out to me.
Yeah, we had a bunch of
couple of days ago.
This.
And all you guys out there in the Student of the Gun audience, you hit us up with it. And so fantastic kudos for you. Because you guys know, you can sniff it out. You're paying attention. You know when vagination is going down there in America. And this is yet another umbrella scare on a campus. What? Yes, yet another umbrella scare. Now, where was the last one, Jared? The first one we talked about way back when, like a year ago, was in New England somewhere, in Connecticut, right? And it wasn't on campus. It was a dude like walking down the street or something. But he was within
the other one in New York or
the one that just happened last week or a week ago or so?
Yeah.
No.
It was Arizona?
It was someplace
dude,
where,
I don't remember.
They shouldn't have been so vag-tastic like they were. Maybe it was in Louisiana. I don't remember.
No, I don't remember.
Shame on me for not remembering.
We got too much stuff to think about. We can't be remembering things.
I can't remember all that silliness. But this one comes to us from Indiana University Southeast. And Jared's going to, of course, as always, you have your two talking heads in the studio, and they're very concerned. And then they go out to a midget in a bikini out in the field. No, it's not a midget in a bikini. South Park people.
They would probably have a lot more views.
South Park people. Yeah, you appreciate that. But actually, they go out to Trisha Takanawa. No, that's Family Guy. Sorry. All right. They go out to an on-the-scene reporter, and of course, they get the lowdown on it. But in this first clip that you're about to hear there, they have a frightened student on a cell phone that calls in to tell everyone how frightened they are. Now, Jared's going to go ahead and set it up for us. Jared, set it up.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us today. I'm Gilbert Corsi.
And I'm Elizabeth Woolsey. Police cars flood the IUS campus after reports of an alleged gunman.
Students and staff told to go into a nearest room and lock the door.
We're in the game room closet. There's probably 15 of us. We're all just sitting here waiting.
An hour later, word that it was a false alarm. The gun was actually an umbrella.
You know, when I first saw this, my reaction was, are you freaking kidding me? And the more that I read and the more that I hear and the more eyewitness accounts and so forth, I'm kind of depressed.
Dude, the ignorance in this country right now in the younger generation is insane. They expect other people to come in and take care of them.
Well, not only that, but what are we raising? I mean, these are college campuses or campi, and they're not 6-year-olds. They're not 12-year-olds. They're not even 15-year-olds. They're all of age adults, 18, 19, 20, 21, whatever. Okay, people that should know the difference between an umbrella. Well, it was black and long and dark and what What?
If we were in the bonus hour there, I would have had a little more to say about that.
Yeah,
one.
if we were in the bonus hour, we could have said a little bit more. But no, seriously. So, and here's the story. This is besides and you've got your news media that feeds on it like a bunch of vultures. I mean, they might as well have wings and, long crooked necks as much of vultures as they are there. And like, oh, well, we need to, we're very serious here. What? It was nothing. It was, they're all amped up over literally nothing. Nothing was wrong. No one broke a law. No one threatened anyone. But we're such a bunch of chicken littles. I swear to all that is holy, sweet Buddha on a rubber raft. And here's the opening paragraph to this story. Indiana University Southeast was on a brief lockdown Thursday after a student reported seeing a man walking on campus with a backpack that had a weapon sticking out of it. But police later determined it was an umbrella.
Well, at least it wasn't SWAT that time.
Oh, my Lord. But it was this police cars flooded, and they probably had SWAT, like they were fueling up the helicopter. Says spokesman Kendra Barnes told WDRB News that the report came from a student around 12:30 p.m. The campus was immediately placed on lockdown, and students and staff were advised to shelter in place. The all clear was given around 2 p.m. So for an hour and 30 minutes, these people hid in lockers and coat rooms and in the closet in the game room. But police blocked entrances and searched the entire campus before locating the man fitting the description that the student had given. And it says that we barricaded the doors, says one ISU student. We had the table wedges under the doors. The cops came and couldn't even open the doors, so we knew we were safe and everything. This is the exact quote. We knew we were safe and everything. And everything. Students continued with classroom activities to keep themselves distracted. And they fought, let me see. Although student who called the police mistook the umbrella sticking out of the camouflage backpack for a rifle. Ooh, it was a camouflage backpack. Well, that's it. That's why we know. Because, Jared, if you're going to do bad things, you always do them with a camouflage backpack. So be on the lookout for people.
So how did this person even see the backpack?
The camouflage must not have been working.
Oh, that sucks.
It says, when I saw the and this is a quote from the student. It says, when I saw the backpack in question. This is from Ray Wallace, the chancellor. Yeah. Sorry. When I saw the backpack in question, the student said that he had seen a backpack and it looked like a rifle was sticking out of the backpack, camouflage backpack. And he makes the point there. Wallace said, but when I saw it, when police brought it in, it really did quite look like a rifle butt. Really? So they're making umbrellas now that have stocks that look like I see there's not a did you see an accompanying photo of the offending what you call it here? Of the offending umbrella? Did they put a picture of the offending umbrella? Did they blow it in place? Did EOD come out and put 1.5 pounds of C4 on it and just detonate it in place? Because that umbrella could strike again.
I'm guessing that it probably will, but somewhere else.
Well, I mean, if that umbrella, if it looked like that once, if it was enough to scare people one time, then certainly it could scare people again. I don't know. I think we need to seriously look into legislation restricting the availability and sale of umbrellas.
If we just made them all bright colors, if we made them all white or pink.
So people wouldn't be afraid of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we can't do that with guns. It's just the opposite. Remember what Nanny Bloomberg said? You're not allowed to put colors on things. They have to be black and scary. Folks, this is what I'm going to tell you about this. I'm sad. I'm depressed. I'm disgusted for the future of this nation. We've become such a bunch of chicken littles. And Jared, I hate to go all elementary school on you, but you know what's going to happen here. We're going to end up in the cried wolf syndrome. These doofuses, every time they see somebody with an umbrella or something, an object that's scaring them. And that's what we need to. Let's ask ourselves that real quick while we're psychoanalyzing the youths of America. Why is it that they're seeing what they're not seeing? Why do they see guns everywhere, even though they aren't there?
Because that's what they're being taught to see.
Abso-freaking-lutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. They're right.
If people weren't taught to be so afraid of an inanimate object, then a lot of this stuff wouldn't even be happening.
Absolutely, Jared. You're 100% spot on. What we've got is an entire generation of Chicken Littles that have, quite frankly, been programmed to be afraid. And what is the solution? How many times we have to go back into this duck and cover and, shelter in place horse hockey? So what are we teaching? Not our little children, not little kindergartners. What are we teaching college age people? Hide. Hide from what? Hide from anything that may be a scary object. This is crazy, people. It's insanity, and it's manifesting itself all over this nation. This is not an isolated incident. We're teaching we have an entire generation of ninnies. How can we protect and preserve this nation with a bunch of freaking little fraidy cats? Oh, someone help me. Oh, help me. Oh, sweet Buddha. I got to get off this topic. It's just so stupid. It's hurting my brain. What else we got? What do we got coming up? Oh, I got a treat for you guys. And we've got a treat for you. For whatever reason, our neighbors to the north, they're having like a collective nationwide mental breakdown. And since we can't ignore it and we have to keep talking about it, what we decided to do is to come up with a Great White North theme song. And Jared's going to play it for you right now. Take off, eh, hoser? All right, for those of you who are not quite as long in the tooth as your humble host right here, that was Bob and Doug McKenzie, the McKenzie brothers. And, of course, you should know the voice. That was Geddy Lee. And that goes all the way back to the early 80s. It may have been 81. It was either 81 or 82. I was it was either in 8th or 9th grade when that came out. But, yes, that is our Great White North theme song. But, folks, the title of this is we got some tyranny to the north, and we need to mention it. And you're like, "Whoa, what do you care? Whoa, come on, Paul. I'm listening to you in the United States." Well, not all of you are listening to me in the United States. Some of you are listening up in Canada and other countries as well. But why this matters to us in the United States is because all of your reasonable neighbors and the politicians that come out and they're like, "Well, we have some gun control for you guys here in this new bill, but it's very, very reasonable." And it's so reasonable that, Canada has employed this. And, our neighbors to the north, they're very, very reasonable, right? I mean, they're the most amiable folks you ever knew. Well, not really so much. What we've got right now is we got a little bit of we got some Gestapo action going on up there in the Great White North. And this story comes to us from www.wellandtribune.ca. And the story is Guns and Ammo Seized in Pelham. It says, alleged failure to possess a gun license has resulted in what Niagara Regional Police are calling a substantial seizure of firearms and nearly 11,000 rounds of ammunition from a Foss Road home in Pelham. And you're like, "Oh man, what happened? This dude robbed a bank, assault, or he's a crack dealer or what?" No, it's just a dude.
Dude, but, did you see the picture of the guns that were seized?
Oh, yeah.
They're all shotguns, single shot rifles.
Yeah,
I think most of them are shotguns.
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 pump action or slide action shotguns. We've got 1, 2, 3 single shot shotguns. We have a single, we have one of the over-under rifles. It's like a 22 upper barrel and a 20 gauge lower barrel, one of those deals like from Savage. We've got two bolt action rifles. We got
a lever action rifle.
Yeah, we got a lever action. We've got what looks to be maybe like a Nagant rifle. I can't really tell. Maybe it's not.
Or maybe a Mauser.
Yeah, maybe a Mauser or something. And then we've got a blue stock one, which is obviously a competition 22. So you know how those single shot bolt action 22 competition rifles, you know how dangerous those are. So we know this guy has at least 1 22, maybe 2 in there. So probably part of that 11,000 rounds was long rifle. But here we go. It says detectives with the Guns, Gangs, and Grows Unit started an investigation this month into the unauthorized possession of hunting guns. Now, hang on a second. I thought hunting guns were the ones that were okay and that we shouldn't be afraid of those. Jared, isn't that what all of our hippie friends keep telling us, that you don't need an AR-15 to hunt, and you don't need a blah, blah, blah to hunt, and you don't need more than, according to Joe Biden, you don't need more than 1 bullet to hunt a deer. You know that, right?
Well, I'm not going to take any advice from that.
Douche nozzle.
Yeah.
We can say douche nozzle on this hour.
We can say douche
Yeah,
nozzle.
we can.
So how do you get this stupid ad off of this page?
You have to click on the bottom of it. I know it's annoying. It's a detective with the Guns, Gangs, and Grows Unit started an investigation this month into the unauthorized possession of hunting guns. A search warrant was executed without incident at 4 p.m. Wednesday. Constable Derek Watson said, with the assistance of the Emergency Task Unit. It was not immediately clear what led to the search warrant. Oh, so we have a search warrant for this guy's house to take his, and they didn't say that he obtained the guns unlawfully. They didn't say that he was being charged with a crime. He didn't, none of that. But apparently his crime was the failure to fill out the paperwork and give him the money for a possession and acquisition license. It says under Canadian law, a possession and acquisition license, PAL, P-A-L, that's so special, is the authorization to possess and register a firearm and to obtain ammunition. The license must be kept current for as long as you possess firearms in Canada. It is renewable every 5 years.
Did you see what this 18 counts of unauthorized possession of a firearm and 4 counts of careless storage of a firearm?
Careless storage of a firearm. Well, here's the thing, Jared. Here's what we know about Canada is you're not allowed to keep guns for self-protection. They're toys. They're sporting implements. But you have to be very careful how you store your sporting implements because you can't have them at the ready. And you can't have I don't know. You Canucks up there, tell me if you're allowed to have ammunition in the same container as your guns. I would bet you that you're not. It's European rules where you have to store ammo in a separate locker, and because they might get together and conspire. And
well, I've got a simple question. Why are you not allowed to have loaded guns in your house? Why?
Because you're a slave.
Yeah, what legitimate? There is no legitimate reason. If you can come up with a legitimate reason
to protect the state from the slave, from the peasants.
So if somebody comes to your house to take your guns,
the
you
rights
can't.
of the peasant. Come on now.
Yeah,
you're crazy. You just think that people want to break in your house and do bad things to you. That doesn't happen.
So this dude was visited by how many people?
Well, it says a constable and the Emergency Task Unit. We can only. So
there was a shootout, right?
No, there was no shootout. He surrendered all his guns are unloaded anyway. So what's it? But folks, this is correct. And the reason we're bringing this up is because it's tyranny, and we're sorry for you up there in the Great White North, but you're living under tyranny right now. But that's what you get for being so freaking reasonable all the time, and that's also what you get when you don't have a Bill of Rights and you don't have a Second Amendment. And it's also the model. Folks, that is the model that they're pushing in New York State. That is the model that they're pushing in Connecticut, in Maryland. That is the model. The model is you have to have a license. You got to get permission from the government. Now you're like, well, what's the big deal? If you're not looking to hide something, you should just go ahead and get a permission slip from the government. Yeah. And then when your license expires, let's say you forget or you get sick of paying a privilege fee to possess firearms, well, what do? Well, like we said, apparently there is no crime in Canada anymore because all these detectives and constables have time to go and execute search warrants on people, not criminals, but for the violation of having an expired license or the failure to get one. Now, one of our Canadian followers, we put this story up on Facebook. One of our Canadian followers jumped in and he said that given the age of the guy and the type of the guns, this guy probably owned and had these in his possession before Canada possesses or passed the law requiring you to get a PAL, possession and acquisition license. So he probably thought, well, I'm good to go. But what do we know? 44. Now I don't know what they call it up in Canada, but what's a 4473? You know, well, it won't be used for registration or tracking of gun owners. You just have to do it
until New York decides if they want to seize the records of guns.
Yeah, until they want to decide to go to your local gun dealer and
I've got a question for you.
Seize their records, their customer records.
All you guys that own gun shops that listen to us, if the feds or the state or whoever came to you and said, we want to seize your records, what would you do?
I can tell you.
Yeah, I can too.
That every single one of them would turn them over to them.
Would let it go and give it to them.
Well, except for the fighters in New York State.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Did you see the news? There was thousands of armed Second Amendment supporters had revolted against the SAFE Act. Oh, that's right, they did.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right, they didn't. Now they're playing fantasy football, and they're going to wait and they're going to vote. They're going to cast their vote on that one day, and then they're going to go back to it. So, oh, did I hurt your little feelings? Oh, I hurt your little feelings. You know what? If I hurt your little feelings, you need to get off here and go listen to a freaking NPR show or some kind of namby-pamby horse crap. Go listen to some fantasy football league. Yeah, play your fantasy football and watch the toilet swirl. Watch your country swirl around and around and around and around right down the drain while you're playing your little games and telling me how you're fighting the good fight. I'm behind enemy lines fighting the good fight. Doing what? Well, I'm going to vote in November. That's fighting the good fight. Bull crap. Quit deluding yourself. Oh, hey, what else is going on up in Canada?
Oh, well, we've got an actual criminal who is not where he needs to be.
Well, you see, here's what this dude did that was the correct thing. If you want to be a criminal in Canada, just don't use a gun. We got Johnny Nimrod here from Canada, we got this a nice young man. He decapitated his mother. Yeah. Toronto police have found 54-year-old Thomas Brailsford, who had beheaded his mother in 2010 and was granted a day pass in Toronto on Monday. Do what? No, hang on now. I think my brain just exploded. I think I might have just had an aneurysm. So, or maybe a stroke. So you're telling me that Johnny Nimrod here, that in 2010, he beheaded his mother. And for those of you that went to public school, that means he chopped her head off. But he was found not criminally responsible for the grisly killing. And in 2011, he was sent to CAMH. Now, the CAMH is the Center, and they spell it wrong. They spell it CNTRE because they're backwards up there. Stop doing that. The Centre for Addiction and Mental Health. Well, that's nice. How nice is that, Jared? That's nice. That's reasonable. That's amiable. It's very amiable, eh? So we got Johnny Nimrod decides to chop his mom's head off, and they're like, well, he's not criminally responsible. We're going to send him to the mental hospital to get some help. Because, we could probably rehabilitate him after the act of cutting his mother's head off. What 12-step program do you go through after you've chopped a family member's head off to get you right back on the path? Is there a halfway house or something you go to, and you go and work at Burger King and come back and check in, sign in at night, or how does that work exactly? So up in Canada, they just decided that they're going to give him a day pass from the hospital.
And guess what?
What?
He didn't return.
Oh, yeah. So he doesn't return. Now, here's the thing. So they give this psycho who killed his mother, cut her head off, they give him a day pass to go walking around. I hope they gave him some spending money. Maybe he'd go catch a Blue Jays game. He'd go up to the Space Needle, look down through the glass floor. They still have that up there, or did it break and people fell to their death? I don't know. Maybe he could take the train. Lots of fun stuff to do in Toronto. So he goes walking around Toronto, and they're like, "Oh, hey, that psychotic killer guy who's mentally unstable? He didn't come back from his day pass." So police describe him as they go on. They put an APB out for this guy, an all points bulletin for you kids out there, and the police describe him as dangerous and urge anyone who may see him to call 911 immediately. You know how that goes. It's the do not, suspect is considered dangerous, do not approach, call police immediately. Now, Jared, I know you did go to public school, but if you got someone who has mental health issues based upon the fact that he cut his mother's head off, and the police have described him as dangerous, why exactly are you giving this guy a day pass to walk around Toronto?
So in the comments here on the story, one of the dudes says, day passes are perfectly normal privileges issued to individuals who are in treatment, and they are a part of the rehabilitation process. How he performs on day pass gives him his treatment team valuable information about how well he's doing in treatment. During debrief, they'll look into why he didn't make it back in time despite being close to the facility, and what supports he needs to be able to succeed in the future. This is how rehabilitation
I see that. So I'm still curious. Okay, this dude's name, the guy who put this in here is obviously he's a senior partner at Haynes Abrams LLC, whatever that means. Don't care. But his name's Paul, and I'm ashamed of you, and you need to change your name because you are a weak-willed, spineless little weenie. So you got a monster that has killed his mother, and you're like, well, he didn't know what he was doing. Okay, all right. Okay. So he didn't know what he was doing. He couldn't stop himself, is what they're basically saying, is he didn't have the mental capacity to stop himself from beheading his mother. So we're going to put him into treatment, but then we're going to let him out, let him have some fresh air. So what happens when when Johnny Nimrod decides to just attack one of the citizens, one of the peasants out walking around on the streets of Toronto, and he's like, hey, that person looks like my mom, and I hated my mom. I'm going to kill that person. What happens then there, dude? So you're more worried about the rehabilitation and treatment of this monster murderer than you are with the safety of the people who just happen to be walking around the streets of Toronto.
And they can't arm themselves.
No, they're not carrying guns.
Oh, and they're trying to get rid of the knives too. So maybe if they wouldn't, okay, here we go. If they would have just got rid of those knives before, he would have never beheaded his mother.
That's right. If this dude would have been part of the bin your knife, get a life, bin your knife, if he would have been part of maybe that's what we're going for here. That's how you keep people from beheading family members, is you just discourage them from owning sharp objects. You shame them into getting rid of all their sharp objects. Are you people insane? Have you lost your collective minds? Is it so cold up there that you have frost on your brain cells? And, I know I'm bashing on Canada, and they're like, hey, slow down, because I know it's going on in New York too there, hoser. Yeah, okay, it is. But I don't consider New York part of free America anyway. But ladies and gentlemen, and now, Jared, riddle me this, Batman. Do you think if Johnny Nimrod, if you think Johnny Nimrod would have shot his mother to death, that they would have found him to be mentally incapable and given him a day pass?
Probably not.
I'm going to go with probably not.
I think you have to be a little bit more sadistic to chop somebody's head off.
Yeah. All right, so in show notes, it says, Paul, remind the listeners of the bonus hour. Okay, listeners. I'm reminding you of the bonus hour, the bonus subscriber hour. And you're like, dude, what is all this? What is this bonus subscriber hour thing all about? Go to studentofthegunradio.com, student of the gun, and then you put the word radio behind it, .com, and it says bonus hour. And you clickety-click it with your little mousy thing, your little arrow thing that comes up on your screen. And then it takes you to the subscriber hour. And while you're there, you can ask us a question, or you can go on to the forums, forums.studentofthegun.com. I know I'm blowing you away here. You're drinking from a fire hose. But if you would like to ask us a personal question, yes, you can ask Paul a personal question. You can ask Jared a personal question. You can make it a combination. We don't care. We actually answered one last week. That was kind of a both Paul and Jared question. But if you'd like to ask us a personal question, post it on the forums, and we're going to be answering that question during the bonus hour. Now, Jared, do we have enough time to do a Go Team moment, or do we want to roll that over into the bonus hour?
Let's just roll that over into the bonus hour. And another thing that I was thinking about doing in the near future is bringing on occasionally having a guest for the bonus hour of radio. And how about I do this? I'm going to open up a forum topic for you guys to see who you guys want as guests. Can I do that?
You're going to open that can of worms.
Yep,
huh?
I'm going to open that can of worms. I want to see if there's a one person in general that they want to hear from.
In general or in specific?
In specific.
There you go. All right, cats and kittens, ladies and gentlemen, and all that good stuff. Do not forget to watch Student of the Gun TV every Monday night. Dish Network Channel 266, same bat channel, same bat time, 9 p.m. Eastern. Download the mobile app to your iPhone. Download the mobile app to your Android, to your iPad, whatever kind of little device thingy you're using to, when you're sitting on the toilet looking at that object in front of you there, whether it's an iPhone or an Android phone or whatever, just go ahead and download the Student of the Gun mobile app, because that's what you do. You can watch us on Roku, Apple TV, and Chromecast. And don't forget, this is the last week, right, Jared? Yes, this is the last week. If you subscribe to the bonus hour this week, no.
Actually, I think it's over.
Is it over?
Well, we'll extend it one more week.
Yeah, because I just said it, so now you're going to make me a liar. Okay, this is the last week. If you subscribe to the bonus hour, to the third hour, fourth hour, whatever it is, subscribe. Jared's going to send you the Student of the Gun ebook. That's Student of the Gun, A Beginner Once, A Student for Life. He's going to send it directly to your inbox. And, of course, every week, if you guys haven't been listening to the bonus hour, we also do a Patriot Bookshelf. We do a recommended reading that's not my book. It's other people's books. So that's always worthwhile. And, of course, Jared lets me a little farther off the leash, and sometimes I can say bad words if they're appropriate.
And this week's going to definitely be a little further off the leash.
Well, let me see. I'm looking at the show notes. We're going to talk about we have a DAFUQ moment. We talk about the Boston bombing and whether or not it has been certified to be terrorism. We've got a shooting at a Kroger. What? Chechens, more ISIS than not. And we got a little thing called Stop Filming, Start Pepper Spraying. And we've got some audio, again, this week that we can only do during the bonus hour because the psycho in question, is using lots of bad words, and we can't use that during the regular family-friendly setting. So check us out. We'll be there. And thank you very much for joining us yet again this week. Jared,
Hey,
tell folks goodbye.
Don't forget to let us know about the Force Options class. We're going to do an online training class for Force Options. And my question to you is, do you want online training alone, or do you want it to include a ticket or a seat or whatever you want to call it to an actual live training event here at Student of the Gun University?
So basically, training at home and residency training. Right.
Yeah.
Residency would be here at Student of the Gun University.
Yeah. Because
we have a campus.
Yeah, you actually have to. Yeah, we don't call police when umbrellas show up either.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. We don't even call police when guns come in. All right, folks. Remember, you are a beginner once. You should be a student for life.